You can do the body scan either lying on the floor or seated in a chair. If you're going to lie down on the floor, I would suggest putting a pillow under your head, perhaps something under your knees to support your back, and you might even want to cover yourself up in case you get cold. If you're seated in a chair, let me suggest you get in a little more comfortable position than doing a regular sitting meditation. Regardless of whether you're in the chair or on the floor, we begin the body scan by recollecting the words of the Zen master, who, when asked how heavy is a cup of tea, replied, "Depends on how long you hold it for." Just so, we're going to stop holding our troubles for a little while we engage in the body scan and put them down, knowing full well they'll be there when we finish. So let's begin the body scan by taking a few very deep breaths. Breathe in, holding it a brief second, and then breathe out through the mouth so you can control the exhale. Let's do another deep breath, breathing in. If you feel the belly rise, holding it, and then breathing out. And now let's return to a normal breath, breathing through the nose, in through the nose, and out through the nose. And as you do this, you should feel the belly rise and fall. You may want to place your hand over the belly and feel that rising and falling, as if a balloon were filling up on the in-breath and deflating on the out-breath. Keeping your attention focused on the rising and falling of the belly. And when your attention wanders away, we bring it back to the breath. Breathing. The belly rise, belly falls. Mind, the attention wanders off, and we bring it back. And now let's start by noticing the position of our body. Notice where your feet are touching the floor. If you're in a chair, are your feet flat on the floor, or your heels against the ground? If you're on the floor, notice your heels should be planted, your feet up. Feel where your body is touching the floor, pressed against the floor if you're on the floor, in your legs, your thighs. Where your buttocks lands, the small of your back is supported, the shoulders and the head, and the same if you're seated in a chair. Notice where your body touches the chair, where your back is supported. Just feeling the whole body. And then we're going to use our attention as if it were a spotlight and send it down the right leg, sending it down to the big toe and the little toe, and sensing all the toes in between. Feeling the sock on your foot, or perhaps the air is creating a presence on the foot, and you feel that. Feeling the top of the foot, the ball of the foot, the arch, the heel. Resting your attention on the ankle. And if you feel comfortable, flexing the arch of the foot slightly, and then letting that arch relax. Dropping the attention into that relaxation. Noticing, as always, when attention wanders away, we bring it back to the body, which is always in the present. Then we continue the attention, bringing the spotlight of the attention up the right leg, up the shin, and the back of the calf, feeling any of the clothing touching the calf or the air brushing it if your legs are bare, sensing if the knee is on the ground, if it's supported, or hanging loose if you're on a chair, feeling the sides of the knees, the kneecap, sensing that hardness. And then flexing that calf muscle ever so gently, feeling it tense a little, and then letting it drop, and settling your attention into that relaxation. Continuing to breathe. When the mind wanders away, we bring it back to the body. And bringing your attention now up the right leg, up the thigh and the hamstring, feeling where the buttocks is supported by the floor or the chair, feeling the hip, the right hip, the pelvis, and then taking that entire right leg, if you feel like it, and tensing it, and holding that tension and noticing what that tension does, inevitably creating a spiral effect and tensing other parts of the body, making it harder to relax, and then let that tension drop and breathe into that right leg. Breathing up and down the leg. The mind wanders away, we bring it back. And then taking the spotlight of your attention and shooting it down the left leg to the big toe, across the toes to the little toe, feeling the ball of the foot, the arch and the heel, the top of the foot and the ankle. And again, just tensing that arch ever so slightly and letting it fall, and noticing the difference between the two conditions, and breathing, and bringing the attention back to the breath and the body, which are always in the present moment. And bringing the attention now up the left leg, the shin, the calf muscle, and feeling any clothing that is touching or brushing the calves, or any air that's brushing against it. Feeling the knee, the kneecap, the underside. And flexing that calf muscle and holding that slightly and letting it drop. And noticing the difference between the tension and the relaxation. Breathing and bringing your attention back to the breath. As we go up the left leg, the thigh, the hamstring. Again, the left hip and pelvis. Noticing if your leg is supported by the floor if you're lying down, or noticing where it's hanging unsupported if you're in the chair. And taking that left leg this time and tensing that and holding that for a few beats as you try to breathe into it and relax. Breathe and relax, letting that leg drop into relaxation state, and breathe into it, holding your attention on the leg and breathing. And then we're going to follow our breath in the belly. Not only in the belly, we want to notice the breath as it enters the body, comes into the chest expands, the belly expands. There's a brief pause. The belly deflates, chest falls. Exhale, and another pause. We're going to focus our attention on that cycle of breath. Noticing especially the pauses here. Chest rises, belly rises, pause. Chest falls, belly falls, pause. Breathe and follow the cycle of your breath. Noticing when the attention wanders away, we bring it back to the breath, to the body. Then we take our attention, place it on the back. We'll begin with the lower back, noticing how we can really break the back into 4 quadrants. Right lower quadrant, as we place our attention there, noticing if it's supported, if it's hanging free, if part of it's supported or hanging free. Notice the same about the left lower quadrant. As we continue breathing, and bringing our attention up the back, the right upper quadrant, noticing where that is supported or where it's hanging free. In the left upper quadrant, noticing the same. Feeling the back move with the breath and sensing that. Then placing our attention on our spine, running our attention up the center of our back, going over each of the vertebrae from top to bottom. And we pause at the neck, and noticing if there's any tension at the neck, noticing if there's any clothing brushing against the neck. Just spending a little time on that neck, noticing if there's any tension there. You might just want to stretch or flex that a little bit and see if that can release any tension. Breathing. Neck tenses and relaxes. We bring our attention back to the neck as we breathe. And then we take our spotlight and split it into two, shooting it down each arm from the shoulder going down to the thumb, the forefinger, the middle finger, ring finger, and little finger, noticing where your fingers are. If you're on the lying on the ground and your fingers, put your palms turned up with your fingers pressed against the floor, notice where they are if you're seated in a chair. Are your palms down on your thighs? Do you feel your palms are warm or cold? What's the air like? What sensation are you getting from your palms? Placing your attention on the palms. When it wanders away, we bring it back. And then taking our attention up the arms, the forearms, the elbow, feeling the biceps and triceps again where they're supported, where they're hanging free. Coming back to the shoulders and the neck, and then taking the hands and placing the fingers, the fingernails into the palms, thumbs on top, and squeezing and noticing that tension and noticing how that tension spreads to other parts of the body and how difficult it is to relax into that tension. But if you breathe into it, you can break it up a little. So try breathing into the tension and then letting it loose, letting it go, opening up, letting your attention settle into that and breathing. Then we take our attention up the neck and the ears, the chin, feeling our lips and the inside of our mouths. What's that sense there? What's that like? Is it moist? Are you dry? The cheeks, the nostrils, settling in, feeling the air as it goes into and out of the nostrils. Really focusing on that. Perhaps trying to sense if the air is a different temperature as it goes out from when it goes in. Placing your attention on that breath. When the mind wanders away, bringing it back. Then taking the attention off of the nose, going to the eyes, the eyelids, the brow. Is your brow furrowed? Is it stretched? Go to the top of the head, feeling where your hair is pressing your body. And then taking our attention down from the head, the face, the neck, shoulders, the arms, the back and the belly, the legs, the feet. And then bringing the attention back up again at your own pace. And then getting a sense of the whole body, and the lying on the ground or in the chair. It's as if the whole body were breathing now. All the pores can take in the air, and the pores can exhale the air. And so breathing with the body. And the mind wanders away, bringing it back to the body. When you're ready, open your eyes.